Hey, good evening, everyone. It's about 10:30 p.m. on the 15th of May, 2021. Got a lot of things that I want to cover tonight, but mostly what I'm going to be working on today for you is taking a look at altcoins, just to see if there's anything that's good for a long-term buy. So I'm going to be looking, a little different than I usually do. What typically I do is I'll look at things that, short term buy or short term hold. Even though we've been holding a lot of alts for quite a while, what I'm looking to do, I'm looking to get into some more. I'm looking to increase my exposure with Bitcoin currently trading under $50,000. Do I think it can go lower? Yes, I do. So these ideas that I'm going to be discussing are, I do this for me, but I'm also extending this to you. So I'm going to be looking again for things that are good for long term, which means that there is some downside risk associated with them. So just to kind of keep that in mind and just kind of put things into perspective, that there is a good possibility that a lot of these have potential for downside. And with anything in crypto, there's going to be increased risk because of the volatility in the market. Things can go up 50% and down 50% in about the same time period, in a very quick time period. So, that just kind of leads me right into my disclaimer. This is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and take a look at things. I'm not going to go too deep into Bitcoin, but I just want to point out here, focusing over here on the main chart. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a look at all of these. I'm going to remove one of my my algo indicators here. Let me just hide that just to clear things up a little bit. I'm going to be taking a look at things a little differently than I usually do, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing for the first couple cryptos that I'm going to be looking at today. Typically, I'll look at the hourly, and I'll use my waves indicator, and I've got the hourly, the 3-hour, and the 12-hour, which, by the way, I want to point out that if we get a little bit of a drop down, that 1 hour, the 3-hour, and the 12-hour are all going to be down here at the same time. So just keep that in mind as we look for these alts to be buying, because everything looks pretty good for, at a minimum, a bounce. Now, is this going to be the last low before we start heading back up above 60, 70, 80,000? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say that. Well, let me just set this up over here. I'm going to be looking at this, and again, I'm going to clear things up a little bit here. I'm going to remove. Again, I'm going to remove my my cloud indicator. All right, I'm going to remove it from there. I'm just kind of cleaning things up just a little bit here. Just kind of getting things ready for this session that we're going to have tonight. Because again, I'm going to be looking at things from the perspective of the short term, which is what we usually look at over here. But I want to take a look at things on the longer time frame. And so what I've got over here on the right-hand side, I've got the daily, I've got the weekly, and I've got the monthly over here. I want to look at all of these things. And I'm going to take it off of log scale because I don't really care so much about fib movements on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. I'll pay attention to that on the shorter time frames, but on the longer time frames, I'm just going to be focusing mostly on the indicators. Just a couple things. Looking at Bitcoin, we've got the monthly indicator, which is this green indicator. The monthly wave is very, very overbought, but honestly, it has been ever since we broke above 20,000. Right? We've been in that bullish control zone really since we broke above about 14,000. We've been sitting up there. And it looks, of course, like it crossed down last month. We still have 15 days left in this month. But as we had in 2016 and 2017, this is 2 years of consistent bullish control. And again, I said I wouldn't pay too much attention to this, but let me just throw this on the log scale. You can see here we crossed up into that bullish control zone here around May of 2016. And we just continued climbing until we hit our top at about 20,000 before we finally started moving down. Now, we can stay up here. I mean, it looks like it's curling down, but we haven't crossed below like 75 or 80. We're still up here at like 84, 87. It's still very, very high. The weekly is, in fact, crossing down below that level. It's down below 75. It's now at 70. If this one comes down to about 50, that's very strong for me on the weekly. And then, of course, on the daily, it looks not too bad. As we know, the 12-hour looks good, the 3-hour looks good, and that hourly, it lends to a little bit more downside. It's probably pretty clear here that what we've got going on is some pretty significant resistance, right? So we've got some resistance. We also have some support here. And if you didn't, you should take a look at the video that I did for our members on support and resistance when we're talking about trend lines. We've got a good bounce here, a good bounce here, a good bounce, right? So if we break below this trend line, that's very bad. If we break above this trend line, that's very good. I tend to believe we're probably going to bounce here for a little bit. And, I still believe that we can go back down to about 44, 45. Could be that we go a little bit lower. If you're on the Discord, it's like they say, if you know, you know. I do have a model that has us going down one more low before we really finally start another climb. We've got plenty of time for this weekly and this monthly. Actually, the weekly only has about a day left, but the monthly, there's still plenty of time for this to kind of absorb a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a green month, but ultimately I think it's going to be a pretty critical month for us to decide what's coming next. There's a lot of people that are starting to say that we have topped out, and I'm not saying that we haven't. I'm just saying that the probability is that we are going to end up going a little bit higher. You've got a lot of people that are shorting right now, which is going to be creating liquidity for upside movement. So what I'm going to do here, again, this is going to be a little abnormal, a little out of the ordinary if you've watched any of my videos. I'm focusing right now on any alts that look good. So I have already filtered out alts that on a daily time frame are very, very low. I do want to try and find alts that are available on Binance. I don't really care too much about strange exchanges like HitBTC or Huobi. What I really want to do is I want to find alts that are available on Binance because that's where the majority of the liquidity is. So therefore, that is what I'm going to be looking for. There, you can find some liquidity on KuCoin. So like CPC, this one right here, this one, and looking at this on the monthly, it looks okay. Looking at CPC BTC on the weekly, it's looking all right. The daily, it looks really good. I would say that this, even though it had a big move down, it's finding a lot of support there at 22.31. So if you're on KuCoin, right? If you're on KuCoin, the 12-hour and the 1-hour are already both down here. That 3-hour, it's still kind of heading down. CPC it's really not that bad. I'm going to go ahead and flag this guy to watch. Now, I don't trade on KuCoin, but I'll keep an eye on it. I think that it has really good potential for upside. And I say that based off of the factors that I've already mentioned. So let me go ahead and just continue looking here to see what I've got, if anything is good on Binance. Finding a lot on KuCoin. Well, here's one, Dent. Let's see here. Dent, is this not on Binance? It's not. I'm surprised. Okay. Let's look at this on all these time frames. The daily looks fantastic. The weekly doesn't look so hot, but this can curl at any time. The monthly looks really good. Obviously, there was some support that was here, right? Lots of support down here. We had a big move up. Pay no attention to the bright colored candles. That is just because of the indicator. Ultimately, a big move up and a pullback. I would say that on the monthly, looking at the wider time frame, Dent, it does look pretty good for a long-term hold. So far we've talked about CPC, we've talked about Dent. I really want to see if my filter picked up anything at all out of Binance. There's Huobi, Dusk. Is Dusk not on? Okay, here we go. Dusk. This is on Binance. This one already looks like it has bottom and it's starting to move up and out. Potential for inverted head and shoulders here. We had a big move up and then a pullback. Let's just go ahead and measure this because this could be a decent pullback. Is that a 618 pullback? It is. Pullback right to the 618, which is good for a wave 2. Now, if that is the case, let's go ahead and measure this and see where our upside target would take us here. So if this is a 1, this is a 2. Again, what I'm saying right now is Dusk doesn't look all that bad. Upside target would be here at about 489, 490. So this looks okay. And then ultimately, let me just zoom out. Ultimately, our next upside target, let me put this 2618 on here. We always want to look at, for a potential 1-2 setup, you want to look at the 1618, and we want to get the 2618 on here as well. I know I've got a lot on this regular fib pull, so let me just clear this out. Ryan, I pity the fool. Thanks. He had to turn on the cam. Right. No, sorry. Sorry to disappoint. All right, so we're looking here 489, potentially up to 537. Now, this is for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which could just be a wave 1. It doesn't look like this is really going to be the top. A couple things that I can see here that I do want to point out, and I'm going to look at this just to point this out. I'm going to look at this on the daily. Again, pay attention to 489 and pay attention to 540. All right, we're looking at this on the daily. 489 and 540. Let's look here. 489, that's going to be right about there. And then we're going to take a look at 540, which is going to be about right there. Okay, couple things here. Remember, these are our two targets to the upside for this little up down, right? This little move up and down. Let's look at this guy, a big move up and then a pullback. All right, so that 618 is sitting right in there. But look up here. This is our upside target. We've got prior resistance, and then we had prior support, and then this candle right here kind of confirmed some resistance. So I would expect there to be some resistance there, but that is still a decent upside potential for this guy. That's 30%, almost 30% from where we're at right now. Ultimately, I think it's going to go a lot higher. Look at this daily. The wave on the daily looks really, really good. I would say Dusk is, I'd say it's a good buy. I would say Dusk is a good buy, even at these levels. Obviously it's gone up quite a bit since this bottom back in January, but all in all, this looks, it looks pretty good. The wave looks good. We had a good wave here that provided a decent upside potential, and then now we're seeing a pullback. And then on lower time frames again, we had a little up down. I'd say that this risk to reward is pretty good. You could stop loss right down here at the lows here at about 395. There's good potential here. I do like Dusk. All right, so let's just keep on going. Let's see here. Dusk is good. I'm going to go ahead and mark that guy. Actually, I need to get the right Dusk on here because I've got the wrong one on my watch list. Let me remove that and let's get this marked. I'm going to mark him green because I think Dusk again looks better than most. All right, so let's keep on going. Let's see here. DTA is Huobi, Easy, hit BTC, Bitrex, Huobi, KuCoin, hit BTC. All right, I know we're going to get some, here we go, FIL, Filecoin. Monthly, not a lot of history. So this one doesn't have a whole lot of history. which means it's probably going to have some significant upside and it's going to be surprising. The only problem that I have with this, we've got, the daily looks okay, the weekly looks bad. I'll probably skip out on this guy. Just because that 12-hour is way up there, like it does look like we're creating a little bit of bullish divergence here on the hourly wave, but the 3-hour is still kind of heading down. That 12-hour is getting close to the top. Not a big fan of that, and it actually looks like we're creating some hidden bearish divergence because we have a high here, a lower high here, potentially going for another lower high here, but the 12-hour is even higher. So there could be some bearish tendencies here. So I'm going to skip out on this guy. I'm going to skip out of him for now. I may regret that, but I'm not a real big fan of the way that this chart looks right now. I'll take a look at OPCT here closer to the end. Let's see what else we have here. So Bittrex, hit BTC. Let's see here. Huobi. Hit BTC. Gotta find something on Binance. I should have filtered by exchange, so that's my bad. Let's see here. Made. Is it made on Binance? Nope, it's not. Okay, let's see here. Keep on looking. Hit BTC, MicroStrategy, Bittrex. Here we go. NBS. This is on Binance. The daily looks very good. The weekly looks okay. The weekly does look like it's curling down. This is something that is fairly new, and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of activity on this one. Let's see here. Let me just pull out the daily. Let me swoop into the daily a little bit here. So of course we had the big sell-off at the listing, a big spike there. We're still creating a higher low and a higher low, and it looks like we're currently on pretty critical support right now. And again, the daily looks okay. The daily actually looks really good on NBS. I would say this one is probably, let's just measure this here, from this low right there to that high right there. Potential that we go down to 45, and we're at 50. So move down to 45 is about 10% drop, which in crypto, that's not terrible. But what's the upside potential? So if we were to buy here at 50, okay, let's just put that here, and let's go ahead and put the stop loss right around here. Again, okay, so that's about 13%. But the upside potential would be to take us up here to this 236. That's 100% from where we are. That's not terrible. And potentially we could be going even higher. Okay, one more time, I'm going to use the same tool that I always use, trend-based fib extension, measuring it from this bottom here to this high right here, get this pullback to about right there, and really, so that actually takes us to the 100, which is highest probability. But that 1618, that would take you almost 170 to 175% from where we're at right now. Personally, I would take it to the 100, which is going to be 100% profit. I'd sell half and wait for potentially the other half to get up there. But if you can take 100% on a trade, all right, if you can take 100% on a trade and cut it in half, that trade literally costs you nothing. Whatever you hold costs you nothing. So if you believe that there is more upside potential for it, well, then there you go. All right, I'm going to mark this guy because this one looks okay as well. So far, we like Dusk, we like NBS, we don't like FIL, we kind of like Dent, we kind of like CPC, but the two that I like so far are Dusk and NBS. All right, so let's keep on going. What else do we have here? Let's see here. OAX. What does this one look like? Let me go back out. The daily looks fantastic. The daily looks really, really good. The weekly, again, doesn't look so hot. We're sitting right there at 50, which could bounce from there. The monthly looks fantastic. Guys, this looks really, I mean, dangerously good. The 12-hour looks good. The 3-hour is getting there. This is one that I would probably hold for a while. And again, keep in mind, I'm looking at the Bitcoin trading pair. I'm not looking at the USD trading pair. And the reason why, let me explain why I'm looking at the Bitcoin trading pair and not the USD trading pair. And that is because Bitcoin is not really moving. And if you want an altcoin to perform in a positive way, when Bitcoin isn't doing anything, you have to find things on the Bitcoin trading pair, because as they rise against the Bitcoin value, then they're going to rise on their USD value. If Bitcoin does make that drop down to the mid 40s, maybe even the low 40s, then you want your altcoin versus Bitcoin to appreciate in value. Okay? This looks good. I like this one. I really do. I like this guy. And let's just go ahead and measure this. I'm going to look here on the daily time frame, because I think the daily looks really, really good. We have some hidden bullish divergence that's being created here. If you can see this, we have on the daily, we have a low here and a low here on the wave, and then we're created a higher low, and we have a lower low in the indicator. That is hidden bullish divergence. That is that's bullish for me. That's bullish for me. So I'm going to look at this from a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an expanding diagonal into the 1, 2, and then I believe we've got a 1, 2. So I'm going to take it from this low right here, and I'm going to take it to this high right here. So are we going to make our way down here to 522? If we did, that would invalidate the hidden bullish divergence. So that's unfortunate. But really, that's down at about the 522, 525 level. We're currently at 580. So there's some downside. But looking at prior support and resistance, I'm going to go ahead and mark this out, because I think this is good to see. So again, I always look left. And I talk about that all the time. You know, look left. So what I see down here in this range, and I see it all the way back to over here, right there. And let's just go ahead and take it down. To about right there. Okay, so the reason why I want to highlight this, let me just expand. I want to focus just on this area of support and resistance. So we obviously had some support here. Liquidity pool to the downside, had some support. These daily candle bodies, resistance, many areas of resistance. We tried to break up. We had a false breakout before we finally did push up and through. We had support here at the top side. Again, resistance, push through, found some support. If we happen to touch that 786, we're likely going to have some significant upside. This looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and mark this one as well on my green list. I think that OAX could be a good move. Okay, so we've got Dusk, NBS, and OAX so far. So let's keep on going. What else do we have here for us? And let me move this back out. Again, on this guy, the daily looks good. The weekly not so bad. The monthly looks great. There can be, not that there will be, there is no certainty in any of this, but there can be some significant upside for OAX. So let's see what else we have to look at here. Let's see, Huobi, Binance, Red Pulse, Phoenix, PHX. Okay, this one has been coming down. The monthly is looking, it's okay. The daily, again, the daily looks really good. I like PHB. The 12-hour looks really good. The hourly is just popping out of being in oversold. That 12-hour is kind of getting there. If we can see a move to the upside here, I would say that on the daily at least, I would say that this weekly has potential to start to curl upward, which would be bullish, and it would prevent this monthly from starting to cross bearish. I think PHB also looks good. PHB for a long-term hold makes a whole lot of sense. And when I'm talking about long-term hold, I'm talking about buying and holding these things for like 5, 6, 7 months, like holding until December. And really you're going to be wanting to wait for some significant profits. So I would say that that PHB looks pretty good. So let's keep on going. I actually don't have a whole lot left to take a look at here. Rose, fairly new. Again, the daily looks okay. I would say that it's trying to push up and out after finding some support here at 245. We're only at 254, so it's not terrible. And really, the big buy came right here at 245, and we're not much higher than that. So Rose is one I would say that looks not bad. So right now I've got 5 items that don't look too bad right now. Let's just keep on going and see if there's anything else that I can find here. Again, looking for items on Binance. Let's see here. Huobi. Let's see here. Swift. Huobi. And maybe I don't have anything else that I can look at. There's Bittrex, HitBTC, Huobi, Bittrex, HitBTC, and Huobi. That's what I've got. I've got just those 5. Again, I'm just going to say it one last time that I'm going to take a look at OPCT. I've got Dusk, NBS, OAX, PHB, and Rose. Those are the 5 that I'm going to throw a little bit at tonight. I'm going to go ahead and do this tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at OPCT. And we will do this. Oh, this is on KuCoin. Okay, let me start on Bitcoin, the Bitcoin pair. This looks fantastic. The daily, it's not super oversold, but it's down there. It's at 27. I would consider 25 or lower on the daily to be oversold. The weekly, it's kind of heading down. I don't like it as much. The monthly, there's nothing there because it's just too new. But I would say on the hourly, I mean, this does look like it's heading down a little bit, but it does look like it is creating a bottom. So I would say, all in all, this doesn't look too bad. Let's take a look at it versus US dollars. OPTC USDT. Okay, and what do we have here? Yeah, I mean, the tether pair. I mean, obviously there's like no history here on the daily, weekly, or monthly, but on the hourly, the 1 hour and the 3 hour, which finally does have some data on there in the 3 hour, it looks pretty good. We don't have any data for the 12 hour, the daily, the weekly, or the monthly, so I really can't say anything on that. However, this doesn't look too bad. It looks like it's created a bottom, or at least creating a bottom. Let's just go ahead and measure from this dominant pivot low here to the dominant pivot high. And we're right down here getting close to that 786, which is at 18.374 cents. We're at 18.723 cents right now. So, I mean, if you can get a trade here at the 786, I would say that would be ideal. Not a whole lot of history on the USDT trading pair. But as far as a stop loss goes, I would say there's a really good potential there. 3.42% stop loss if you're able to get this right there at that 786. Question on the YouTube channel: what alts do I currently own? Let me just tell you. Let me pull up my portfolio here, and I will tell you right now exactly what I own. Currently, I own KMD, ETH, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, Algorand, Loom, WTC, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, Sushi, Polkadot, Omisigo, OMG, SNX, Nano, WAN, WAN, right? ZRX, Dodo, that's DODO. I do own some Ripple. Let's see here. I also own, did I mention Lumens? I don't think I mentioned Lumens. I've got Lumens, CHG, it's like Chiliz, Audio, Lisk, ORN, and Wing. Those are all of the alts that I own that I have been holding for a long, long time. So I've been holding, and when I say a long, long time, really for me, that's just like a couple months, right? January, February. I've been holding on to those for a while, and I added KMD, Loom, and some of the others here within the last month. And I'm going to continue to hold on to those at least for a little while longer. I'd love to hold on to them until like November, December. It's for me, it's not trying to chase the coins that are pumping. It's for me, it's trying to get out on that euphoria stage, which I don't think that we have seen. I don't think we have seen a true euphoria stage in the market. So that is what I own. That's like half. That's funny. Yeah, I do have a lot, and if you've been listening to me with stocks or anything like that, I like to diversify. I like to throw my money around in little bits and pieces. That way, you don't get yourself caught up in in one thing. Cardano has been doing spectacular, right? Actually, I'm just kind of curious on it right now. Cardano has been doing really, really great. We're up above $2, and we were talking about like 205 being some kind of a top, and well, we got all the way up to like 235. Doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. I think Cardano has good potential to go up to almost 20. So I'm going to continue to hold. If we do see some signs of weakness, I'll probably get out. But look at this hourly. Look at this hourly. These are the things you want to look for. This looks pretty bullish. Price action just moving sideways. But that hourly is starting to reset. We're going to get some hidden bullish divergence on the hourly wave, and that's going to be a good thing. That's going to be very good for continued upside for Cardano. Lumens has been doing okay. A lot of things haven't been doing well the last, the last week. Things haven't been doing so well. There are some things that have been very strong. Cardano is one of them. Cardano has been very strong. And I don't have any reason to believe that that it's going to change anytime soon. Because, I haven't done one of these in a while, but let's just have a real quick exercise here on support and resistance. Right here. Resistance, resistance, support. Right there. Then right here. Resistance, resistance, support. Right there. Okay? Right here. Resistance, support. Okay? These are the things that we have historically been paying attention to. Look for some of these guys to lose their support. Then we can talk about exiting. But for right now, doesn't look too bad. Esports pack, what are my thoughts on Bitcoin? Let me go to another chart here, and I will show you exactly what my thoughts are on Bitcoin. Okay, this is this is not the chart that I have shared with the Discord server, but this is a short position that I shared. That short position actually got hit within like, I don't know, $1. I had 15,551.37, and we got to 51,551.37, and we got to 51,572. So that was a pretty good move. But all the way down here potentially is where Bitcoin could go. And this takes us basically down to about 42,000. Right now, a lot of people are saying this looks like a bull flag. And I was just talking about that earlier as well. We were talking about support and resistance levels. We've got a pretty clear resistance level here. We've got pretty clear support levels right here. Right there. So you've got signs of weakness where we're creating lower high, lower high, lower high, and then lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. But at some point, there is going to be a little bit of bounce. And in my opinion, on Bitcoin in particular, even though I am bullish, I do think we're going to make that lower low. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat. Longer term on Bitcoin, let me just go out to, say, a 3-hour time frame here. And as you will see, I've been keeping an eye on Bitcoin for a long, long time. We've been talking about this for a long, long time. I feel like I've got my pulse, my finger on Bitcoin's pulse pretty well. And we've got two scenarios. We've got a very, very bullish scenario, which takes us all the way up. Let's see. I don't have it in near view here, but we've got a scenario that has us going up above $70,000, $80,000, $90,000. But there is a scenario which, you know, I do have to kind of keep in mind here, that it is possible that we could see some significant downside, and that would be pretty devastating on a number of fronts. We're currently entering a squeeze on the 4-hour time frame, which is, you know, potentially going to be giving us a little bit of a reversal, which means we could get that spike down really quick and then a move up and out. But there is the potential that what we could see, let me actually go to a weekly here and show you what a bad scenario would look like. Okay, so it's possible that we've got an A and then a B, and then we're going to go down for the C, right? There are some models that suggest we're going to go back down here. I don't believe that's the case. But one thing that I see all the time, and we were just talking about this, I think on Friday, talking about the stock market. This kind of a move where we have this A and then move up to the B, and let's just say that that was the top right there. If that was the top right there, let me just clean this out. There we go. If this was the top right here at about 65,000, that 100%, the 61.8%, these two right here are going to be levels that are going to be very important. A pullback here makes a whole lot of sense to about 20,000, because that would be a good retest. That 20,000 mark is something we have not tested yet. We actually found it as resistance, and then we just shot right straight through it. Huge demand was there. Once we pushed through 20,000, it was a move from 19,463 all the way up to like 38,000. I mean, that was basically, it went up 100% over the course of, you know, a month, 4 weeks it took us going up there. So are we getting close to a significant top? That is a projection that I have to keep in mind, because I have to, you know, I have to be able to adapt. If something starts to look very, very bad, I would say that then yeah, I think that it's possible that we could make a significant low. It's possible we could come all the way back down here to this 100. And it's likely that if this is the case, right, if this is this type of a correction, it's likely that we will make our way back down here to the 100. What do we have here at the 100? Well, we've got lots of confluence here. This is resistance, this is support, and that is a level that currently, if we don't make any new highs, that's a level that's sitting out there just waiting. And it's possible that we do hit that. It's very possible that we hit that. Is there something else here that could provide this as a means for finding some support there? Okay, so this taking out all the way out to May of next year. I mean, this could be a very, very complex and painful correction if this is the case. Okay, now what I'm not doing, I'm not saying that we're going to go down to $10,000. I'm not saying that, because right now I believe the probability is that we're going to be going up versus going down until we break below this level right here. This is a very important level right here. That's going to be at about 38 or to 39,000. That level, super important. If we break down below that, it's not good. That's not good if we do that. And more than likely we are going to find ourselves down to, you know, at least here at about 28, but more than likely we're going to find ourselves back here to the 618. This is going to be some really, really significant support. Likely if we make ourselves come down here, we're going to find support there, even if it is short term. That's my view on Bitcoin. Ultimately, I'm bullish. This over here is my main count on Bitcoin. Yeah, I do think that there is a little bit more downside, even though we are finding some support here. And the 12-hour is saying, 12-hour is saying, we're oversold. 3-hour is saying, yeah, we're oversold. The hourly has a little bit of room to go. A little bit of room to go. But watch this trend line, because we're going to, oops, let me fix that. There we go. If we break up and out of this trend line, that's a pretty bullish move. If we break up and stay above it and maybe retest it, then that would be bullish. And more than likely, this 3 is not a 3, and this is not the 4. But this looks like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, before we go down lower. So we could get a false breakout. I do think that Bitcoin goes a little bit lower, but I do think this is a good opportunity for buying alts. That is what I'm trying to say. And so far, what we have discussed our favor for Dusk, NBS, OAX, PHB, and Rose. Those are the 5 that I've got on my list. Those are the 5 that I'm more than likely going to be purchasing today. All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and end it. It is now 11 o'clock on Saturday night, 5:15. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening.